Cole Merrick stepped through the warped wooden gate of the county auction yard, dust rising around his boots as the late afternoon sun bled across the Texas horizon. He was there for cattle, maybe a few tools if the prices stayed low. He wasn't prepared for what he saw instead. At the far end of the yard, 7 young girls stood huddled together, chained at the wrists, their dresses torn and faces streaked with travel dust. They looked no older than 16 or 17, each trembling as rough men eyed them like livestock. Cole felt his stomach turn. The auctioneer's voice cut through the heat. 7 girls, strong enough to work the mines, cheap labor. $7 for all 7, payment in full today. Laughter rippled through the crowd, mixed with crude comments that made Cole clench his jaw until it hurt. He'd seen hard things in his life: broken families, starving orphans, beaten hands, but something about this moment hit him in a place he couldn't ignore. Maybe it was the fear in the girls' eyes. Maybe it was the way they clung together, refusing to let go of one another, even in captivity. Cole stepped forward, pushing through the men who smelled of whiskey and sweat. Several turned to glare at him, surprised to see the tall, broad-shouldered rancher making his way to the front. He didn't care. His pulse thundered in his ears. The auctioneer grinned when he saw him. Merrick, didn't know you were in the market for this kind of stock. The crowd chuckled. Cole's expression didn't change. He looked at the girls, really looked, and something inside him hardened with resolve. I'll take them, he said, his voice steady but cold. The auction yard fell into a brief silence before erupting into laughter. Some men slapped their knees, others nudged each other with knowing grins, assuming Cole had bought himself house servants or worse. But Cole didn't flinch. He took out $7 and placed them on the wooden platform. As the auctioneer counted the coins, a man muttered, "Fool's wust in his money." Another whispered, "Bet he'll break him in by sundown." Cole ignored them all. His focus was on the girls, whose expressions shifted from fear to confusion. The auctioneer handed Cole a single iron key. "They're yours. Try not to lose 'em." Cole's fist tightened around the key until it dug into his palm. He stepped toward the girls, giving them space, not wanting to frighten them further. The oldest of the group, a girl with dark eyes and a cut across her cheek, glared up at him. Despite her fear, there was defiance burning bright within her. When he reached for the first chain, she jerked back sharply. "You'll regret it," she said in a low, fierce voice. "We won't obey." Cole paused, absorbing her words. She wasn't threatening him. She was warning him, telling him she wouldn't bend, wouldn't kneel, wouldn't be what anyone tried to make her be. He admired that more than he could say. He knelt slowly, showing his empty hands before touching the chains. "I'm not here to own you," he said gently. "I'm here to give you a way out." His voice carried enough conviction that a few of the girls stopped trembling just slightly. The key clicked in the first lock, releasing the cold iron from their wrist. Cole worked through each shackle carefully, not pulling, not rushing, treating each girl as though he were freeing a wounded animal that might bolt at any moment. None of them spoke. When the last chain fell to the dirt, the girls remained in a tight cluster, unsure whether to run or stay. The auctioneer had already waved off the crowd, eager to move on to cattle lots. The men dispersed, though some watched curiously from the edges. Cole stood and stepped back. "You don't owe me obedience," he said quietly. "You owe yourself freedom." The words came from somewhere deep, somewhere he rarely spoke from. He didn't expect gratitude. He didn't expect trust. He expected them to walk away. But the girls didn't move. Their bare feet dug nervously into the dusty ground as they glanced between Cole and the empty horizon beyond the auction yard. They were free, yes, but freedom meant hunger, exposure, and danger in a land that chewed up the vulnerable. Running blindly could kill them faster than chains. Cole saw their fear flicker into uncertainty. "You're safe for now," he assured them. "No one will drag you back while I'm here." He kept his distance, letting them choose for themselves. His horse, tied beside a broken fence, snorted softly as if sensing the tension. The oldest girl stepped forward, though only by half a pace. Her lips parted as though she wanted to speak, but years of mistreatment had trained silence into her bones. Instead, she watched Cole with a sharp, guarded expression that tried and failed to hide her exhaustion. One of the younger girls, no older than 15, whispered something to her. The older girl nodded stiffly, then lifted her chin at Cole. "What do you want from us?" she asked, wary and unconvinced. Her voice shook, but her stare didn't waver. Cole shook his head. "Nothing," he said simply. "I want you to live. That's all." He knew how foolish it might sound, how unbelievable. In this territory, kindness was rare and almost always a disguise, but he wasn't lying. He didn't know what else to do but try to help. The girls exchanged uncertain looks. Their entire lives had been carved by men who took, demanded, punished. A man offering nothing in return felt like a story meant for children, not for girls who had already seen the darkest sides of the frontier. Cole finally added, "You can follow me back to my ranch if you want. Not as workers, not as property, just until you figure out what comes next." It was the only offer he had. He wouldn't force them. He wouldn't grab them. He wouldn't repeat what the world had already done. Silence settled again, thick as desert heat. The girls stood in a line now, less huddled, more curious. The wind brushed past, lifting strands of their tangled hair, carrying the scent of dry earth and sweat. Cole waited, patient and still. Then the youngest girl took a hesitant step toward him. Another followed. The others moved after her, until all 7 stood before him, not obedient, not submissive, but choosing a direction for the first time in a long while. Their defiance hadn't disappeared. It had simply reshaped itself into something new. Cole felt a tightness in his chest, loosened just a fraction. He didn't smile, didn't congratulate himself. He merely nodded once and turned toward the road leading away from the auction yard. "Stay close, it's a long walk." Though preparing for another command or punishment, he didn't blame them. Their lives had been shaped by ownership, not kindness, so he kept his distance, leaving warm meals on the table, stepping outside so they could eat without feeling watched or cornered. On the second night, the silence finally split. The oldest girl stepped forward, her voice trembling with anger and exhaustion. "You bought us," she said, eyes sharp with mistrust. "What do you want from us?" Her words weren't just a challenge, they were a memory of every demand that had ever harmed her. Cole met her gaze without flinching. "I want you to live your lives," he answered simply. "That's all." She stared at him as if trying to peel away the truth. Men didn't offer freedom for nothing. Men didn't offer anything without a cost. Yet his voice carried no greed, no ownership. Only sincerity. In the days that followed, the girls watched him more closely. They noticed how he fixed their torn dresses and left them folded near the doorway without stepping inside. They saw how he slept in the barn, choosing the hard floor so they could have every inch of the cabin to themselves without fear. The smallest girl tested him first, taking food without waiting for permission. Another asked quietly for water. Each small moment chipped away at their terror. They didn't obey him because obedience was not what he'd asked for. Instead, their rigid fear slowly softened into something cautious but real: trust. That fragile trust was tested when the men who had once owned them arrived, riding hard onto Cole's land. Their voices carried entitlement, demanding the girls back as if reclaiming lost property. Cole stepped in front of the cabin without hesitation, his stance calm but unmistakably protective. This time, the girls didn't hide behind him. They stepped out and formed a line at his back, standing firm despite the tremble in their hands. They weren't silent victims anymore. They weren't bowing or begging. For the first time, they stood with someone willing to fight for them and with each other.